On this episode of Out in Alaska. It's been hard to post a video because I've been a pack mule. My beloved snow machine broke down. Oh, it's another day. My toes are frozen. It's minus 17 degrees. We ran up on my little baby helicopter there. It is almost midnight and I'm tired. Let's back up. In front of me is a moose in my trail. Hey, moose! Is it worth it living off grid out here in Alaska? I will tell you this. It is not for the faint of heart. I've been living alone in this cabin now for 5 months. Every day is a challenge. Whether it's chopping wood in sub-zero temperatures or just getting up to go to work at minus 40. Also, the mental. Just being alone all the time. So if you're curious about is it worth it, or do I feel it was worth it, hang around. We're gonna go over that in this video of up and downs on my experience so far. In October, I made one of the biggest decisions of my life. I quit my job, packed up everything, and left Houston, Texas for a remote, off-grid life in interior Alaska. It's just me and my dog Gage, and the wide open wilderness now. This is a journey about learning to live simply, embracing challenges, and finding myself in one of the most rugged and beautiful places on earth. Welcome to my adventure. I'm one step closer to the life I've always dreamed. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And thanks for joining me on Out in Alaska. Woo, I'm looking fat in this stuffing today. I'm here fueling up. I'm getting ready to make a trip to the cabin. It is negative 24 degrees, and it is the first trip out there. So I'm kind of packed up in the truck. As you can see here, goal today is to get heat put in. I purchased a cabin from a couple that needs a lot of work. Today is Thursday, and I have until Sunday to be out of where I am. So Sunday I need to be in there. It is a shipwreck. I will show you what it looks like when I get there. I will definitely be roughing it for some time until everything gets set up. Now it's time to get everything loaded into the trailer. It took me about 7 trips with the sled and the snow machine to get everything back there. Most notable was the 400-pound wood stove that I had to get up the stairs all by myself. After getting all of that loaded in and the wood stove put in, it was time to cut up some wood and start warming up the cabin because it had been sitting for the beginning of the winter and it was minus 19 degrees outside. I needed to get it warmed up so I could start working. So I went to work cutting up some wood. Living off the grid in Alaska is a romanticized idea that's often portrayed in the media as the ultimate form of freedom and self-sufficiency. Visions of secluded cabins, surrounded by breathtaking wilderness, and living off grid, untethered from the constraints of modern society. It's an attractive notion, one that many of us, including myself, have fantasized about at some point or another. But what's the reality of living off-grid in Alaska? In reality, it's not all about sipping coffee in the port, watching the northern lights dance across the sky. There are real challenges that come with living off-grid. And I'm not just talking about the harsh weather conditions or lack of amenities. It's a complex lifestyle that requires a certain mindset, skills, and a whole lot of hard work. Wow, I look around and think, where do I even begin? There's so much to get done. It's still cold inside the cabin. It's negative 12 outside and only 12 degrees inside at 1:30. They had tore down everything, the doors, the paneling, and anything they could to burn in the wood stove to party for the last 2 years, and then took the wood stove. At 2 o'clock, it's still 17. The wood stove's going, and now it's time to go ahead and put in something else that I bought to help with heat. Not only was it important to get the wood stove in, but I also bought a Toyo stove, which burns heating fuel very slowly. I didn't have ability to get the oil tank over, so I made one out of a 5-gallon gas can. I put fittings on the bottom, ran the copper pipe through it, and in through the house. That gave me the ability to stay warm throughout the winter. It burns on average about 1.5 gallons of fuel a day. Now it's time to get this cabin straightened out. Wow, what a mess it is inside of here. So I needed somewhere to store things, so I started building some kitchen cabinets with some one-bys I picked up from the local hardware store in Fairbanks. I just designed it as I went along and put the sink in, the water spigot which feeds from a 5-gallon water bucket below, and that just gave you some storage area. I cleaned up a little bit and got things straightened up the best that I could. Things were getting tiring. I sat down and made a cup of coffee and just looked out the window and relaxed for a bit before it was time to head to bed. And so this is my normal routine. For the next 3 or 4 weeks, I come home, get some work done, go to bed, get up at 5 a.m. and head to work until this happened. Early one morning on the way to work. The snow machine broke down this morning. On the way out of the woods, I got a little bit of snow all over me. I had to walk out. It's minus 17 degrees. My toes are frozen. It's another day, and now I'm going to be late for work at 6:30, and I'm supposed to be there at 7. And I'm headed back now to go take the trailer to get it. I still got over an hour drive, so I'm going to go get this done and try to get going. Yeah, so the snow machine broke down. I decided to go ahead and just head on to work, and I'd deal with it when I got back. But it made my walk just a little bit longer. That evening, when I got back, something told me not to mess with it late at night. But I did anyways. Didn't fare well. I ended up getting the truck stuck with the trailer on the back of it. I have to get up at about 3 a.m. I would try to show you my face, but I tried to fix it. Then I loaded it on the trailer, and now I'm walking the 2 miles home. So, lesson to myself from that experience is when you're tired, when you're frustrated, don't try to fix things then. Wait until your mind is right and you're able to think clearly to make those decisions. Oops, almost slipped. So a lot of people have asked where my video's been, and I do apologize. But this is what I've been doing for the last 3 weeks. I've had to pull supplies, groceries, and everything home with a rope or in a bucket. It's been hard to post a video because I've been a pack mule. I have to walk about 1.5 miles to the truck and back. It's been a lot, but we're making it. Living off grid is not particularly easy. You know, I wasn't expecting it to be easy. I didn't move here because I thought it would be a walk in the park. I moved here because I wanted to live a different way. I wanted it to be rewarding. And rewarding doesn't always mean easy. So of course this isn't ideal. It's not the best thing. I call it my weight loss program. So pat those feet and turn them corners. This is the last stretch. My house is just in that bundle of trees located right there. So we are approaching my backyard. Oh, that scared me. We ran up on my little baby helicopter there. They are so loud when they take off. And off they go. Right here. Get it. Get it. Get it. Go get it. Go get it. Good boy, bring it here. Good boy. Ready? Sit. Sit. Walking to work in the morning. So I spent the next 3.5 weeks walking 1.5 miles to the truck and 1.5 miles back after work. The snow machine was going to take a while to get fixed. There was a 3-week backlog at all the shops in town. So I just took time to enjoy the sights, take my time, and make the best of the journey ahead of me I could. So I'm walking home, and right out in front of me is a moose in the trail. He's not that far from me at all. I'm gonna turn on my headlamp and see if that makes him move out of the way. Hey, moose! And then they took off. So there here she was, and the footprints right here. I'm pretty close to the house. It was a good sized moose. Just standing there kind of doing some grazing. He didn't move far off. You should be able to see him again when I get around the corner. He's coming back. Just walking up the trail headed through the woods. I don't know if you can see him go down in there. This corner here, which I adoringly call my driveway. There are 2 trails that lead into my place. One, I approach it from this side. I'm not sure with the sun if you can see my place over there. This is the one trail, which is probably the driest. The other comes across an old riverbed, which depending on the time of the year, can be dry on one half or can be damn near, excuse my French, but it can be almost a river during the other time of year. I wanted to talk about why I chose to live so remote and inaccessible. I really don't want a driveway to my property. Are there some improvements I'd like to make to the existing trail? Without a doubt. I will need to build a bridge this spring after breakup across the first branch of the river that creates this creek. There is also 2 really, really wet, sloshy areas that I need to build up on this approximately 1.5 mile journey back to the house. But a roadway is something I particularly really do not want at this moment. And the reason being is I chose to live remote, secluded in solitude. And as soon as there becomes a road, that's gone. So I don't want a big road where people can drive back, more money to maintain into something. So you can see, my place is sort of looking like Sanford and Son right now. Again, I moved in the snow, so everything was snow covered. As it's starting to melt out, you're starting to see the old refrigerator that's laying out front that I gotta get cleaned up. My shed is over there, which we're gonna break into and take a look at the outhouse. So all those things we gotta get done. I have to move the Starlink, which I had to bring out here so I could upload a video because it was sitting up over here. I can't put anything into the ground this time of year, so I just had it sitting up on top of that old refrigerator. However, it was obstructed. I'm gonna go ahead and let Gage out real quick and then we can finish up. So to answer the question, is it worth it? It's a resounding yes from me. Both Gage and I love living out here, wild, free, and on purpose. The last challenge, and probably the biggest challenge I've learned to deal with living out here, and that's loneliness. When you're so secluded away from everyone, You have to find ways to fight off that loneliness and to deal with it. So I've actually, believe it or not, learned to embrace it. I learned to embrace it, sit with it for just a little while, and then let it pass. I don't own it. I don't let it stick with me. I enjoy the small things that I can, whether it's a phone call from a family member or a friend. I just take that time out there while I'm walking around to become one with nature and not feel alone. I find myself just looking at tracks and noticing different things from trees and even talking to myself. So I've made an active choice in life not to allow that loneliness to affect me. You know, I dealt with loneliness even when I didn't live secure. And sometimes the most lonely we can be is when we're in a crowded room. So friend, if you, like me, are one that has dealt with or maybe dealing with loneliness, I say this to you. Live on purpose and not just with a purpose. And know I'm here with you. Thanks for following me on Out in Alaska. Until next time, take care, friend.